Hello, this is Prince Will of Global Consults. Hope you're doing fine wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night in any part of the world you are right now. So basically, I'll be talking about moving abroad. Yes, I love talking about this. Going abroad is not enough. You need to consider your plans and your goals. Why do you want to travel abroad? When you get abroad, what do you want to do when you get there? These are the things you need to consider before you move abroad. Okay? So, for those who want to successfully move abroad and get a successful residence in abroad, depends on the country you want to move to. I want to list pathways you can travel abroad. One, which is the most important pathways, is work visa, work permit. If you are able to get a work visa or a work permit to Europe, to Australia, to New Zealand, to Canada, to US, to any of these countries, basically, it's a best decision you would make this 2024. But we all know that getting a work visa is not easy, especially when you're outside that country. It's not easy for some reasons. So many people would choose to go through the study route. Again, the study route is very expensive. It's not cheap. It's not affordable for most people. You need to consider tuition fee, which is in many countries 20,000 US dollars, 30,000 US dollars, 17,000 US dollars, depending on the currency, right? So many people would still not be able to move abroad through the study route. However, there are ways we can go about these things. So for those who are unable to travel abroad through work permits, direct work permits, you can move through study visa, okay? Or you can move through tourist visa. Now, for study visa, you have to consider Europe. There are countries in Europe where the tuition fee is not more than 3,000 euros. Yes, Malta is around 6,500 for undergraduate studies, then 9,500 for postgraduate studies like masters. Now, this is for the public universities in most cases. Some private universities in Malta may charge higher than that, but you need to budget 6,500 euro to 9,500 euro to study in Malta. That is for 1 year academic session. Then for Portugal, for Czech Republic, for Italy, you can get into these countries with tuition fee less than 6,000 euro. For Italy, between 1,500 to 3,500 euro, you can conveniently study in Italy in a year. That's paying your tuition fee. For Czech Republic, most of their universities charge 3,500 euro or 5,500 euros. For Portugal, many of their public universities charge around 5,000 euro, some charge 4,000 euro, some charge 7,000 euro. So this is way more affordable than Canada, US, Australia, New Zealand, UK, and other countries. Remember these four countries: Malta, Italy, Portugal, Czech Republic. They are all in the Schengen area in Europe. So you are still getting quality education and you are having a better life in terms of the economy in these countries. Cost of living is very low. So you can consider this route if you are able to get work permits from your home country. You can consider going abroad through study and going to these four countries I've mentioned, right? Now, if you still do not want to study, maybe you can't study or you don't want to study at all, you can move to certain countries on a tourist visa, get into the country, seek for employment, get this employment, then your employer applies for work permit on your behalf. Countries where you can achieve this is Australia, you can achieve this in New Zealand. But you need to consider your stay during the time you're searching for employment, right? Your accommodation, you need to consider the fee for your accommodation, and you need to have skill and certifications for you to quickly get jobs in Australia and New Zealand if you are moving through a tourist visa. Now, if your plan is to get over there on a tourist visa, search for employment, get a work permit, it's better you go alone. So once you've done all this, secure the work permit, you can invite your family over. It reduces the expenses on you. Okay? Canada used to allow immigrants coming to Canada on tourist visa and get a job, get a work permit, and you are good to go. But now Canada has stopped this policy. It should have been stopped next year, February, but they stopped it recently. So Canada is off it. For US, US will have been a good option, but the immigration policy of US is shaky at the moment. You know, President Donald Trump promised when he comes to power after this election, if he wins the election, he's going to have a massive crackdown on immigrants in the US. So for now, I wouldn't advise anybody to move to the US on a tourist visa with the hope of getting employment. It's very risky. Now, if you still want to choose countries in Europe, it's a bit difficult in Europe to get work permits if you arrive on a tourist visa. But countries you can consider, which is relatively easier to navigate on a tourist visa. Spain, if you get into Spain, which is in Schengen area on a tourist visa, after staying there for like 3 years, maintaining a particular address for that 3 years, you can proceed in regularizing your stay in Spain, obtaining work permits eventually. Yes, you can do that in Spain. But can you sacrifice 3 years? I wouldn't know what you'll be doing for 3 years in Spain. Of course, there are jobs you can do, under the table jobs you can do in Spain, but this is on you. It's only advisable for people who have relatives or friends that can fix you up in Spain. Then, if you still want to travel to Europe on a tourist visa, you can consider Belgium, but you need to have in mind of applying for asylum. So you must be somebody who wants to apply for asylum. You must be somebody who wants to go through the process of asylum. If you are able to go through this process of getting your papers for asylum, then you consider Belgium. If you still want to go to Canada on a tourist visa, regardless the policy being stopped, you can choose to go through the asylum route. It means you must be ready to go through the asylum route of Canada. Basically, there are many ways for you to move abroad. A lot of persons traveled abroad through different visa pathways. Either it is work permits, either it is study visa, either it is tourist visa, or whatever visa category you have. The main thing is to have a plan. To have a plan. If you don't have a plan, even if you go abroad on a work visa directly from your home country, you will still not make it abroad. Even if you travel abroad on study visa, you still not make it abroad. There are a lot of persons that have traveled abroad on work visas, on study visas, and they are still yet to find their footing abroad because they don't have a plan, they don't have the required skill, they don't have the required certification, and above all, they don't have that winning mentality. So you need to cultivate a winning mentality and start the process as soon as possible. The longer you stay in starting this process, the more difficult it becomes. Countries change immigration policies all the time. It becomes much more expensive moving abroad in terms of the visa application process, the flight ticket, the accommodation fee, everything goes up, especially for those coming from Africa, Nigeria in particular, where the exchange rate is astronomical. Now, formerly, you could move to Europe, you could move to any country with 3 million naira, with 4 million naira, with 2 million naira. But right now, most people travel abroad, even to those countries we think are small countries. You travel with as much as 6 million, 7 million, 8 million. Some countries, even 30 million. Yes, you can spend as much as 30 million depending on what you are going through, either a study or whatever. I just want to advise you to start your process early. If you have your money, if you have your requirements, start it on time. And by God's grace, you would not just get your visa, you would also have a successful life abroad. If you need assistance with respect to application for your visas, reach out to us via WhatsApp +23480 or email us travels@uphillglobalconsults.com. Our social media is @uphillconsults. I wish you all the best wherever you are. Do have a lovely day.